Right. Welcome everybody to Friday Night Live. This is my name is Ron Hulbert, coming to you from Orlando, Florida, and I'm glad to see everybody here. We're glad to have a good turnout again. We got a couple of great speakers tonight for you. Just to share a little thing, sorry I missed last week. I got a chance to go out of town with the family and do some fishing, and it was great. Caught about 30 bluegills. So we'll have a fish fry soon. But I missed y'all. I thank you for everybody that helped Lynn out. Of course, she can do it on her own, but I appreciate the people who helped. Just quick, I am, of course, in Orlando, originally from Michigan, like Chris, but smart enough to move out of the cold. Retired law enforcement, and then I got into OnPassive December of 2020, and it's the best decision I ever made. So right now I want to introduce my co-host, the beautiful, the one and only, Lynn Nakamoto.
Hello, everybody. Is there feedback? It's okay? I'm good?
You're good.
I am a proud founder of OnPassive. Couldn't be happier. I'm from Hawaii. I moved to Florida to retire. It's nice here. I'm looking forward to the get-together on Sunday, the meetup. And we hope that any of you who are nearby will join us. It'd be nice to see each other in person. It'd be awesome. That's it. Well, back to you, Ron.
All righty, great. Listen, tonight we have our first special guest is a guy that I think we've all became friends with. He's from New Jersey, and he's been a founder since beginning of 2019, I think it was. He is he doesn't like the word guru, but he's our guru. I'd like to introduce you the one and only Marty DeGarmo.
Hello. Thank you very much. Yeah, I started OnPassive March 1st, 2019. And thank God I actually found it, or it found me. I've been working online for a long time. Wound up on disability in 2004. And anybody on disability realized it doesn't pay very much. So I was looking for ways to make money. I loved the job I had. I traveled all over the world, and just one day I couldn't go back. So I got online and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make money." A lot of people heard my story. I won't bore you to death with it, but got into a lot of businesses, tried everything, worked with many people. Online marketing for me was you just keep peeling back the onion and you realize there's something else you didn't know. And I just kept going, and I thought I could get in and do what everybody's doing. Everybody's making money, and it wasn't true. I mean, very few people had success, and even their success was random. This residual income, man, my God, I heard about that for 30 years. I don't think I've ever met anybody that has it. If I did, it's very small amount. 1.5% of the people online. Yeah, there's people that make really good money, but I wouldn't call it residual because as soon as they quit, the money stops. And I always thought there's got to be something out there that could seal the deal, and there wasn't. And about 2.5 years ago, I was getting ready to get offline. I don't know what I was going to do, but I wasn't going to keep doing what I was doing, because the most aggravating part of marketing was when you do get to a different level and you do learn how to do something. I could drive traffic. I could drive targeted traffic, actually. And that became fun. wow, well, let's bring in, and I teamed up with Mike and Dan, you guys know that. And all three of us had different skills. Mike's a video king. I talk too much, so I stay with the marketing. But anyway, we started driving traffic, whatever business it was. And every time we got going, I started to meet the people because I'm a people person. So I'm meeting Larry, John, Fred, Harry, Susie, and they're not having any success, like absolutely none. So I said, okay, that's not good. So we would make little mini, tools that they could use to help them get moving, because they don't have 40, 50 hours a week, 5, 10 years to learn. So let's kind of give them a push forward. Should make little mini systems, a page here, page there, come in this angle, try this. And a couple people did a little better, but nothing to scale. And I started wondering, like, as soon as myself, Mike, and Dan would get in a business and start scaling, scaling's where you actually can make money, the company would be gone. Or you get that feeling, the night before I'm talking with Mike and Dan, and I go, something's not right. I don't know what it is, don't feel right. Next morning I get up and my feeling was true, because I can't find the business. I can't find it anywhere. I'm calling Mike, Dan, hey, can you log in? Log in. I don't know where in is. Next thing you know, the company's gone, took off. All the people that we did try to help, the last faces they saw, Fat Marty, Pitbull Mike, and Bankman Dan, okay? So they automatically start blaming the people they see. Not the crook that walked away named JC and the Belize or whatever. But that was okay. I could take that because I knew me. I knew myself. I wasn't that guy. So you get into another one and you set up a new system. Now, Mike Williams talked about this the other night. And while I was listening, I was amazed because he took the same exact journey we did, just a different area, a different time, but identical. I mean, I was with him while he's talking. Yep, I remember. Then we'd run into another business. So we were in one business. We got in crypto. We were bringing in $1,000 a day each, easy. Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, well, you know that feeling, even when it's too good to be true? That started hitting. This doesn't make sense. Well, what had happened, we got in the year that Bitcoin started at $900 and went to 20 grand in 7, 8 months. 3 blind mice would have made money that year, right? It didn't matter what the system was. You bought 2 or 3 Bitcoin, you're going to have a lot of money in a year, even if it wasn't a business, if we just held it. But we got wrapped up with this guy and he's working with us, and you put it in and we'll give you this much back. You put it in, we give you this much back. So I'm kind of a numbers guy, not as much as Mike Ellis. So I start figuring out, I'm going, wait a minute, at this rate, we're going to make $10 trillion in 10 months. Okay, you know that's not true. So if the math doesn't add up, you've got to back off and say what's going on. So we started doing that. I get together with Mike and Dan and said, we got to get out of this as soon as we can. Now, the company wouldn't let you take everything, so you had to take partial every day. So we took the max. Boom, 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 boom. We left there with a profit, very little, and the company shut down. Thank God. Now, where's the bad thing there? Everybody we invited there lost money. Every freaking person. So now I'm thinking, man, we look like butt wipes, and we should. They followed us. We thought it was okay, but no matter what we thought, we got them into something that they got burned. There's people from parts of our family, I don't want to mention who, lost 30 grand. 30 grand in like a week. So I am not one happy camper, okay? So then we get in another business, and I'm thinking to myself, I want to know the guy running the show. So we got in the business, and right away I shot off and said, who's running this? They said a name. I said, okay, I want to meet him. And well, you can't do that. I'm not talking about OnPassive, by the way. So I finally met him. And first he played Elite on me and You're Just You, because he was a guru. And I said, well, we'll stick in here and see if this guy has the magic wand. And of course, Mike Ellis, about 2 months into it, said, this guy don't have anything to offer. We probably know more than he does. I don't know, he made $1 million in one day, one of his things that he did, supposedly. So anyway, we followed him for a year. And let me tell you what, on that company, you had to pay every month. It was in a pre-launch for a year, some kind of pre-launch. He did come out with a couple sites, but they sucked and they wouldn't convert. So he said, well, the problem is you guys can't drive traffic. That's what he's telling everybody. So we put it in overdrive, slammed the pedal to the floor and drove 4,000 people to his site fairly quickly. Opt-ins, I mean, they're there, they saw it. Not one signed up. Now, what does that tell you? It's not converted means it sucks. People aren't interested in it no matter what you do. So I went back to him, very subtle as I am, and said, obviously this sucks. He said, well, it must be your leads. Okay, let's get your leads. Well, if you want my leads, it's going to cost you $7 a person. And I'm going to hook you up with a guru, Facebook guru. Myself, Mike, and Dan go to this lady, and she's doing the meeting on how to advertise in Facebook. We get halfway done. I'm raising my hand like some kind of kid that's got to go pee-pee. Yes, Marty. Hey, what you're doing, yeah, that ad will never fly. Facebook will never accept it. Look, we have experience. We know what we're doing. Okay. Next time she comes back, they don't say anything, but the class is over. A couple of weeks go by, and I'm like, what's up? How well is it doing? Well, they didn't accept it. They made up a reason why, but I know why. They were putting crap in there that's not going to go with Facebook. So I go back, and of course, Mike is on my left shoulder. You know, he's that guy telling you that we got to get out of this. Or, you know, and he was right, by the way. I wish I'd have listened earlier. But finally, I went to a meeting just with him on Skype. And he said, we were talking a long time. I showed him an ad. I showed him a picture, and I showed him what we were doing, me and Mike and Dan, because he wanted to know how we were driving so much traffic. When I was done, he said, holy cow. He said, what are you paying for those leads? And I said, 35 cents. We're getting thousands. Now, some of it wasn't that good. I had to fine tune it. Once we got done, about 55 cents. Targeted traffic, which is pretty good, but it took a long time. And I was showing him what we were doing. He goes, well, you can't put that image. People don't like it. I said, you don't like it. And it doesn't matter what you like. It matters what people like. That's the problem. When people do ads, they do it and say, I don't like this. It doesn't matter what we like. It matters what works. So I showed him, and he did a couple, but he kept adding stuff to it, like a girl walking with her hair blown in the wind, and thought that's gonna, you know, it doesn't work. People are clicking on it just because they want to see the pretty girl. They don't really care about the content of the page. So I said to him, no, he said to me, we were getting ready to leave. I didn't know where we were going, but we're leaving. And he said, you guys have the skills, amazing, but you'll never make it in this industry because you're too nice. And I said, well, what you're doing, people are not going to understand. They're not going to be able to do working a 9 to 5 or a shift and a half, or a single mother or single father. They're not going to be able to do this. They don't have the time. You've got to cut some time frames for these people. He goes, I said, they're just not going to be able to do it. He said, think up. The more people that don't know how to do it, the better off we are. Because it won't stop them from following us. Now, we live many, many states away, which is a good thing because he might be in the emergency room after that statement. But I said, okay, and we quit. I was done after that statement. went back to Mike and Dan, we're talking, and I said, we're done. Mike's happy as a lark. Great. I was, whatever. I said, okay. So now, it's like being a musician. You can't play any instrument. We're marketers. We want to market. We want to help. So now we're out there. What do we do? What are we going to do? And I'm thinking, I don't want to do what we're doing that hasn't worked yet. Yeah, we could drive traffic, we can build a team, we can make a little money, but we can't help anybody. I don't want to make a team and not be able to help the people I'm looking. I don't look in somebody's eyes and says, hey, Fred, I'm going to help you. Freaking lie. I'm a liar. I don't want to be a liar. I'm sorry. So ran into Red Redford and Peter Rogers. What are you guys doing? I knew them and we were friends. They were in that business, by the way. They were in the same exact business. And they started explaining to me OnPassive. Now remember, my bar is so freaking low, an ant can jump over it. Okay, my bar is really low. I'm not looking for grandioso. I flat right out said, can anyone do it? That was amazing. Yes. Do they need special skills? Nope. Is there an auto ship? Nope. Are they trying to sell some kind of left-handed upside down monkey wrench? Nope. Okay. So what they're selling is it in high demand now by the billions. Give me a couple things. And Red spelled out a couple things. He wasn't quite the QA guy he is today, okay? But he was good. So he told me and I went, okay. Yeah, I want in. You gonna talk to Mike and Dan yet? No, don't get in. So I did all the stuff, went back. Mike's here, he knows. I drive Mike crazy. So I went back and said, Mike, what do you got to do in 97? Mike goes, what? And I did it again, whatever I said. And he goes, he got in just so I'd shut up, right? We'll figure it out later. So we got in, Dan got in. We went back to them. We did a little talking. And I said, okay, who's running this shebang? Because A, he's either the most unique, unbelievable human being in the planet, or B, he's the biggest scammer that ever walked the planet and got a lot of nerve being out in the open telling people. Had to be one of those two. And it was worth $97 to find out. Oh, it's Ash Mupara. Okay, I never watched the video, guys. At this point, never saw him, don't know who he is, never heard, nothing. Did not get in because of that. I got in because of what could happen. And they kind of snickered, like, have fun. The guy's busy. I don't know if you're going to be able to get a hold of him. I don't go into business without meeting the guy at the top or the woman. I don't care. Because now I've learned my lesson. So many people got burnt and my name's on it. I want to know. Well, good luck. So I went back to him. Me, Mike, and Dan searched everywhere. We talked to different people. We found out what we thought we knew about the business. Mike started going ape on the YouTube. I started doing autoresponders that looked like Fred Flintstone wrote them. So I give them to Dan. Dan made them coherent, actual English form. And we started doing it. And then I went on Facebook and tested for about 3 or 4 months, trying to get an ad that would be accepted and that would work. So then I told him, okay, here's what we got to do. We're going to go into Facebook. We're going to get people to come out of Facebook and take them back into a group. But we got to take them from Facebook. So when Facebook looks at the trail, they see us just taking them from Facebook ads and putting them in Facebook group. Now on their side, they're going to go, look at these idiots. They're paying us to move people from one area to the other. They could do that for free. But they don't realize while we take them out, we're feeding 80 autoresponders to them, telling them the truth or starting to spit out the truth slowly, very little. Hey, what would you like about boom, 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 boom? Hey, if you'd like to get together with other people that are in with us, go to OnPassive Nation, blah, blah, blah. And they started coming in. They get in, they're like Dorsey looking around. They have no idea the house just landed on the witch. Why are we here? We had a video at the top explaining this is why you're here, Fred. And he got it. Then they get back and they're still getting autoresponders. Now we hadn't done any Zooms yet. So we went on and on and on and on. And then I went to the banker / Dan Street, fork over some more money. Let's crank this thing up. Okay, that's what he said. And we did it. Now we started getting about 250 to 300 opt-ins on pending founders a day. So we're doing it, because people say, how do you have so many pending founders? We had 5,000 guys. I mean, we had a lot because we went through a lot. So we're going through these numbers, and about 4 or 5 months in, I get a phone call. And this really strange guy gets on, right? At this time, I knew who he was. I heard his voice. This is Ashley Farah. I am your friend. It's like, oh my God, it's R2D2. You know, I mean, I didn't know who he was. And I said, well, that's great. So we started talking. And he said, I've been watching and seeing what you're doing with this OnPassive Nation, and I am very impressed. And I'm really happy with what you guys are doing. It's fantastic. So we asked him, I said, would it be okay if I got Mike and Dan and we kind of had a little interview with you? Sure, no problem. Great, let me set it up. So I go back, have our little meeting. Hey, Mike, Dan, we're going to interview this guy, find out what's up. Okay. All right, we're going to interrogate him. You know what I mean, Ron? The problem was the interrogatee is much better at it than us, right? So we get there, we get him in the room, Skype, I think it was, and we're asking questions, and all of a sudden, bing, he started hitting the ping pong back. And he's an expert, right? So he's going, and I'm with him. I mean, boom, ping, 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 slam. Oh, shoot. So now there's 3 blind mice sitting there. Me, Mike, and Dan just listening with our mouth open, and he's slamming all kinds of stuff on us. I plan on doing this, and I got this, and I got, now he's opening up his head. And that's a scary place to be, guys. When he opens up his head, you are going to great adventure, okay? You're on your way to Disney World. So we got there and we're listening. I go, oh my God, so he got off. And we almost felt like, did we just get molested or what? So what happened? So I go back to Mike and Dan and they go, I think he interviewed us. And we're both talking like a couple of stooges. And I go, yeah, he did, whatever. But that's how the relationship started. And then now, after that, it got into where if I saw something I didn't like or whatever, I always tried to ask the truth, even where some people might not do that. Hey, Ash, this guy's a butt wipe, put it in, butt wipe. This means, a nasty guy. He's no good. Okay, I mean, my slang was totally different than his. He doesn't use it. But I just found out he is the real deal. I mean, you can't, that's what drives me mad. Like when now I'm at the point, if I got some a-hole on YouTube making a video so he can get extra money and has people going to look at just to cause controversy, I want to punch him in the face because he's not just talking about the company I spent the last 2.5 years. He's talking about Ashley Farr and his family and everybody here. I take it personally. Should we? Is it a professional way to do it? No, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not that professional. I waved that bye-bye a long time ago. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Get close enough because I can't run that well. I will choke you out. And we'll do a new video showing what happens to somebody that says lies. But anyway, the wrong thing to do is go there and look at it and tell everybody. Because most of the clicks that I got were from OnPassive, which is sad. But anyway, all said and done, I feel with my bone marrow, we're in a great place. We are the luckiest people to walk the planet as far as a business. Obviously, it's not you in the relationship with God, but it's the next best thing on earth. And some of the stuff that he went through, and people just like when I asked him, what do you do on your days off? We give food and water to the poor. We had 4 hours extra. And trust me, he doesn't have, he sacrificed his whole life for the last 3 years. And then a few weeks ago when he got really, really sick, I would text him. He always left some note, even if it wasn't high. 4 days, nothing. Then when he finally did, he goes, it's not good, right? So he's going through the stuff. So I'm kind of in a panic because I don't understand So I go, I'm going to somebody to help me, Mr. Key here, who never said a word to anybody. So I get a hold of Key. Key, he's sick. Does he have COVID? No, I told Key no at first, but he did. But his whole family had it. His wife got sick. His kids weren't so bad, but his wife did get sick. And he started getting problems down low in his gut. So I called Key, and he knew I was doing it. I was going back and forth. Now he had Key might know the name, but he had not an ambulance, but a service come to his house. They check your blood pressure. They gave him some liquids and vitamins and all that. And Ash is a really healthy guy, thank God. But there was 4 days he didn't get out of bed. He couldn't walk, right? So I'm asking Key, what would he be taking that would have did that? Why would it? Well, send it to me. So I sent him the list. Key, I'm telling you now because it's after the fact, and Key is going to hate me for even bringing it up. He didn't want to talk about it, but that's too bad. I'm bigger than him, and I'm all the way in New Jersey. What the heck's he going to do? So I sent him the list. Key looks at it, and Key right away, you know what he does? Class act. Marty, I'm an upper guy. I'm lungs, heart. That's my down below is a different person. But Key went out of his way, talked to some surgeons, showed them the list that Ash sent me. And because men, they don't want to go to the doctor, right? We don't go, we're done. We go on the ambulance, picks us up and drags us there. But anyway, the guy came back and said, no, there's nothing really there that's bad. It should be fine. Maybe it's the painkillers. Well, to make a long story short, we found out it got worse. He did get an ambulance. He did get sent to the hospital, and it was his bladder. And part of the problem with acid bladder, he said it, he came out and told you, is Ash would get in a meeting and you learned how to hold it long enough that it would go numb. Okay. Here's one of the smartest guys in the world, and he's like just killing himself slowly, right? So, but they told him a couple of years ago, you got to stop doing that because if you don't let it out, that's how you, because he had COVID, his immune system was a little off. So whatever could happen happened during that time. It was a lot worse. Needless to say, the reason I bring that up, during that time, he's asking me how people are doing. That's who he is. Do you need anything? I said, are you freaking kidding? I'm almost mad that he even asked. Is everybody all right? I said, do you want me to give an announcement of some kind? Yeah. Just tell him I'm getting better. And he started getting better. So okay. Then he came back that Monday. But the guy, I mean, to me, I can't even explain it. I never met Ron or Lynn, William, Bruce, all of you. Byron, Kevin, Eric, Lystra, everybody here. Oh my God, it's everybody. My little brother there, Chris. But I care about you, right? Because we know each other long enough. We spent more time together in this freaking piece of crap pandemic than we did with family members in most cases. The same thing I feel about the company and Ash. So that, and listen, our job, my thing, I believe, it's not about numbers anymore. Don't go out and try, I want to get 50 people, I want to get 60. We need to get the right people. Because the other people are coming anyway. You know how many people I talk to now that the problem is inside? It's not outside. It's not some jackass that made a video. He'll disappear soon. We got a lot of people inside that were brought in with the wrong intention. They were brought in with an MLM attitude or mentality. I'm going to make money quick. Where's my money? The me attitude. And people that come in and feel that they're owed something. What do you get for 97 bucks? That's what you're owed. And I got that 1,000 times over in the last 2.5 years. Not money, but I got it just from life experience in this company. I've had guys tell me I paid 97 bucks. I better make 50 grand a year. I came in at 2018. I said, excuse me? And I put, bite me. Oh no, here's what I really want to say. You want your money back, give me your email. I know one thing I can do. I can get it to you in 24 hours. But if you can't take this journey, then get off. get off the bus. You can come in anytime you want. We got to start being upfront with people. And when you bring them in, tell them, hey, you know the privilege of getting in early? It's fantastic. You know the downfall? We don't know dates. What does Mufar ask Mufar come in? He'll say a date because he feels pressured to say, we're planning on doing it Tuesday. 70 things change between Friday afternoon and Tuesday that say, no, it's not going to happen Tuesday. So what is he going to do? Come back on and say, no, I was wrong. Wednesday at 7. No, I'm wrong. Thursday. A lot of the stuff are out of his control. Whether he likes it or not, or whether we like it or not, it's too big to micromanage. This is going to happen Monday. This is going to happen Tuesday. If you can't handle, and $97 is going to put you in a home, or you're thinking about suicide, get your freaking money back and relax. If it's blowing you away, and this is the biggest scam in the century, $97, I'm going to say it again, go get it and go swimming, go fishing, go do something. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's all I got, really.
Thank you, Marty. We appreciate you sharing that. And I agree. The nice thing about OnPassive is there is no limits. The sky is the limit. And we just got to keep our plane filled with fuel and be ready to launch it when it launches, whatever it takes, however it takes, or when it happens. But totally agree with you. And by the way, that was a great video you put out today. If people haven't seen it, it's called Do You Believe? Really Believe? And I tell you, it's better than listening to Joel Osteen. I mean, it's it was good.
Hey, Ron, can I add something?
Sure.
Yeah, Marty, you're right. You might be a little bit bigger than me, but I'm going to get you, buddy. What Marty just shared with you, it did happen. And when he contacted me, the strange thing is I function on the opposite side of the clock. I mean, I'm in the Eastern time zone, but I work 7P, 7A hospital, intensive care unit, ER. When Marty contacted me, it was like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh my shit, what's wrong? What's going on? And Marty's text to me or message me was, can you talk? I'm like, oh hell, what is going on? It's 2:30 in the morning and Marty wants to talk to me. Something's not good. And he gets on the phone and he's asking me this, and he's asking me that. And he did send me the list. And like I told him, I'm a heart lung guy. I'm not a bladder, GI, guts, and that's not my area of expertise. But being in a hospital, I've got some resources, so I went down and talked to some people, and I would have never shared this with any of y'all. This was a private conversation between Marty and I, and it involved Ash. And it's just like if one of you guys call me, I would never share. I wouldn't talk about it, but that did happen. And the first thing that I told Marty was when Marty told me that Ash had called for an ambulance and had gone to the hospital, my response to Marty was, thank God. I said, he's finally going to get diagnosed. He's going to get an accurate diagnosis, and he's going to get treated. And we get on the road to recovery. So all you hard-headed guys like the rest of us, I'm guilty too. You got something going on. And one thing that painkillers will do, a personal experience, you taking any painkillers, it'll, worst case of constipation I've ever had in my life. And it caused a lot of pain, but I didn't know what was going on with Ash, and I wasn't going to diagnose Ash. I mean, I shared with Marty what I knew, made some contacts, and, and to this day, I haven't talked to Ash about it. I know that Ash got my messages, and I wish him the best and was there for him. And, and just like all of you here, I feel very close to, quite a few of you, even though we've not shaken hands, we've not looked each other eye to eye. But, what I have gotten out of OnPassive I mean, I got people here that call and check on me, how I'm doing, that I've got friends of 20 years that don't do that. And that's what I've gotten out of OnPassive. You know, I've gotten extremely close to Marty and Chris, and you know, just great friendships, you know, and I firmly believe, like Marty said today, I listened to you, Marty, on my way home. I had to go to Edenton up on the Eastern Coast, and I listened to you on the way home tonight. And so, yeah, you know, it's OnPassive is a blessing, and it's bringing this whole world closer, and all of us can attest to that we're closer. I mean, I didn't know you guys a year ago, and so I'm glad to be part of it. And Marty, yeah, I am going to get you, buddy, but thanks.
Thanks for sharing that, Key. Appreciate it. You know, I think everybody knows here that we have the best CEO that any company can ever have. So I'm going to turn this over to Miss Lynn Nakamoto and let her introduce our next guest. Lynn?
Hello, everybody. Let's welcome our guest speaker, our second guest speaker of the evening, Peter Hauge. He is from Kokoda, Papua New Guinea. He left school at the age of 15. He's a born-again Christian and was called into service. And on September 23, 1991, he moved to the Philippines. So this means that in a couple of weeks, he's going to enjoy his 30-year anniversary of being in the Philippines. Congratulations. He got married in the Philippines, has one daughter who is age 21, and you may have seen her because she does weekly presentations about OnPassive. So you may have seen her presentations. So Peter is a church pastor in Manila. The church is called CRC Churches. He is national chairman of the CRC organization in the Philippines. He takes care of churches, pastors, and leaders. And there is a network of churches throughout the Philippines. So he's able to do, the church and he are able to do humanitarian efforts throughout the country. And he also goes on missions in other countries. So he's going to share with us what he's been doing in the Philippines. And I believe he even has some photographs to share with us. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Lynn, and thanks, everybody. Great to hear Marty speaking. I'm so encouraged by what he said. I came late, but I was able to catch the later part of what he was saying. And I like what he said, you know, we are the luckiest people on earth, and that is correct. You know, OnPassive brings about good things. And our brother just, you know, was making a comment and he said, OnPassive is a blessing, and that is very true. So thank you, Lynn, and thank you everyone for inviting me to be part of your webinar. I'll just share a few thoughts about myself and what I do and how OnPassive comes into the whole equation of, you know, what I do. So I just few screens to share if I can be allowed to. Thanks. So yeah, just a little bit about myself, what I do, and why OnPassive. I think this is very important, especially why OnPassive. Why would a pastor? Why would a missionary? Why would someone in a, you know, what he does with humanitarian become part of OnPassive? So that's just the thought behind that. And so I raised this question, and this question is for every one of us. You know, I think this question has some connection to what Marty was sharing. I think Marty made some very, very important points there about, you know, how people act, you know, their motives in coming into OnPassive, becoming impatient, complaining, and all of that, you know. So it really comes down to this very simple question, but I believe it's a biggest question in life, because if you don't answer this question, if I don't answer this question, then we really have no purpose in life. So the question is, what is your big why? And that comes down to your motives, our motives, reasons, purpose. Because if we get into something, this should be the driving factor. This should be this question that bring about an answer should somehow guide us or direct us in what we do in life. So this is, it's a very big question that each of us need to answer. Why are we in OnPassive as well? So, so firstly, I also had Martin talk about our CEO, the founder himself, CEO and founder, Mr. S. Mafaru. Now, right at the bottom of my screen, you will see I am not a marketer and I'm not a businessman, all right? I was just attracted to him. From the very beginning, his leadership, his vision, very, very clear. His passion, his heart. I think his heart is full of love and generosity. We all know that. The reason why he was wanting to build this, of course, from the early year, 2018, it was more to be a marketing platform to help others. But then that evolved into this big, massive, giant company we're talking about, OnPassive. But he took action, I think it's a massive action. You look at the people here, the leadership team he has built, going into renting offices and how he works from US with the tech team in India. That's crazy, when you think of it. It's quite big. And so when you look at it, it speaks of a man with a heart, with a mission, with the leadership quality. He's a clear vision and he's got a passion to do it. So, so really my story boils down to that very simple thought that I, put it below the screen here, that I was just attracted to him. Okay, he articulated what he's planning to do and his vision was laid out. Of course, we can read it in Jeffrey Moloch's ebook. It's also carried on by most of the leadership council. We hear that again and again. So really, I didn't think of so much about the Apple thing, the business, because as I said, I'm not an online marketer or I'm not a businessman. So really, the business side of it did not really click on me. But here is a man who's sharing his heart, sharing his wealth,
Hi, Laura.
sharing his life
How are you, Laura?
to help other people.
What are you
So
doing?
really, I was attracted to that.
Huh? Laura?
So
Where?
as we have already heard, I am a missionary and a humanitarian, all right? Use my churches as a platform to what I do as a missionary, but also do humanitarian work as well. So that's where OnPassive comes in. That's where Ash comes in. Okay. So to me, when Ash was talking about helping people and doing, feeding the kids and all of that, he also talked about, creating millions of Mother Teresa's all over the world, it made sense. So everything, even from the very beginning, when I was introduced to OnPassive, when I heard our CEO talk about his vision, his heart, going forward, it really made sense to me. As I said, I'm not a businessman. When people ask me, what is your business? I say my business is people. And that's why I said, OnPassive makes sense. Esmafara makes sense. It resonated with all that I do. So these are some of the photos. I do not share photos anyhow. This was just because Lynn requested that I should share some photos so that it kind of makes sense with what I do. So this is a typhoon and floods. Whenever typhoon hits, we all know the Philippines, sits right at the pathway of where the typhoon runs through. Okay, so every year we could have about 2-3 typhoons, but with heavy rains, and it brings so much flood. So many times, places affected. So we do medical missions. So those are some of the photos of a medical mission. We do building project. Building means people's homes that will be destroyed. Currently, I have about 3 projects still going on related to. There was a typhoon earlier this year, I think January or December, late December, January, and it was one of those big ones we had, and it affected some places. So we do have a building project. That's why I'm a humanitarian. I help people and that sort of thing. This is a school assistant program that we have. What I do here is that right now, I just confirmed it last night that we have 191 kids from very underprivileged families that are on this program. So what we do is we buy bags, school bags and textbooks. We buy shoes for them to wear, uniform and other stuff that can help kids go to school. Right now, because of the COVID-19, most of the kids are doing online classes. So funds has been distributed last week just to cater for the kids' needs. So this is just one of the things that we do. This is COVID food assistance, meaning there are many, many people who are affected by the COVID situation. This is a global pandemic, but of course, in the Philippines where we live, many of the low income earners, or maybe I should say poor people, most of them try to make ends meet by selling stuff on the street, becoming street vendors and that sort of thing. But due to COVID, many of them are locked at home, and as a result, they cannot do anything. So we assist, do some food assistance. So I don't actually ask them to send these photos, but in appreciation and acknowledgement, they would have to send it to my staff so that they can inform me. So this was provided by one of the girls last night. So yeah, so that's really what I do. And as I said, my question is repeated again here. What is your big why? Why are you in it? There are some who are in OnPassive, of course, because of they want a big house. They want, they might want a private jet, a car, enjoy life. That's good. Others may want to travel around the world. Others might want to help families. So we all have different reasons why we're attracted to OnPassive. whatever your answer will be, that's really depends on you, but your answer will give you your mission and purpose in life. And because you have a mission and purpose in life, it can bring fulfillment, joy, and happiness. Because I believe that, in life, when you found a purpose in life and fulfilling that, it brings joy and happiness. Okay, so OnPassive really makes sense. And yeah, so I am really passionate about about OnPassive and all that that we are looking forward to. And since day one I joined OnPassive, I've been very attentive, very involved, very engaged. I've tried not to complain simply because I don't know, right? I'm not a marketer, I'm not an IT expert. I've never experienced anything in business and all of that. I've never experienced the so-called, 97% failure in internet marketing. I haven't experienced that. So I'm just an innocent person who just loves what our CEO brings here, and I believe that that OnPassive will impact the world like no other companies have ever done. I really believe that. And so OnPassive to me is a big platform where everything is packaged and delivered, right? That's OnPassive. OnPassive will bring correction where things have gone wrong, social media correction, marketing correction, okay, corruption, right? Correction. Everything will be corrected. It's a correction fluid. OnPassive is a correction fluid. It will affect every area of society. Why? Because it's happening right now, even before OnPassive is launched. It's happening with many of us who have become part of. I've heard many stories from people who just come, oh wow, OnPassive has affected my life. I was this, but I'm thinking of this. I've never thought of anybody, but I'm beginning to have this. Why? Because OnPassive has set a stage to bring correction. Okay, so many of the wrongs will be corrected by how OnPassive is going, but also at the same time, it is a solution to business. Okay, we talked about that many times in the webinars. It's a total internet solution, right? I'm done. Thank you very much, Lynn.
Thank you for sharing. And I believe that what you shared resonates with the people here today in the webinar, because we all have hearts for humanity. We share Ash Mafar's vision. And I think that I'm sure what you shared will inspire us. And it gets the wheels going, our minds going now. What can we do when those apples come flowing into our wallets? What are we going to do with them, and how are we going to help humanity? So I think that today people here might want to share what they're going to do with their apples, and they might have questions for you. And how do you see Oh Bless as a platform to help your cause? Peter, how do you think Oh Bless is going to factor into what you're doing?
Oh yeah, I believe Oh Bless is a blessing. All right, it will actually, I think, like with what I do, I think many of the wish I had, this thing that I think we want to do more, but then somehow we are limited. And I think it was one of the webinars, maybe if I can remember correctly, or when they were launching that Oh Bless, I think if I can remember, it could be Dr. Bill and Ash and others who spoke about how Oblast as a platform can be used for humanitarian causes, for fundraising and different, non-government agencies, projects and that sort of thing. So there are times where I feel like I wish I had more, and that I would help this and help that, and I would build this project and that project. So I see OnPassive's, one of OnPassive's product or platform, which is Oblast, will be a big blessing to help in that area.
Yes. And when we think about how many people are going to be in OnPassive, right? We're saying within the first year, we're expecting 100 million at the very least to be coming into OnPassive. Imagine just a small percentage of those 100 million people coming onto Oblast and even giving to your CRC mission. What a huge impact, right, Peter, that's going to be. Let's say they all gave $1, but 5 million people pitched in. That's $5 million.
That's right.
Your mission church could certainly use that 5 million, huh?
Yes, that's right. That's correct. And many of where I am involved, I think I must have told you this, but I've been exposed to some conditions, some areas, or some countries among the poorest of the poor, if you understand. And many of the countries that I work in or we are engaged in is, in terms of finance or money, value, like if you give, just like, for example, yesterday, a few days ago, somebody messaged me that, they have a problem in the neck, it's like there is a growth in here. So they're asking me for some funds. So I said, okay, I will send 5,000 pesos. 5,000 peso is thousands, but in dollar, it's just nearly $100, you see. So you see, if you're talking about, 5 million, and that, like, we have work in Bangladesh, for example. I traveled to some parts of, Asia, Asian countries like Myanmar, So, when you exchange the dollar value into the local currency, that will reach billions, to help people. So yes, it will be a big impact to people's lives and projects, yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Anthony. How are you? You can unmute yourself and share.
Hi, good night. Well, for me, my purpose in OnPassive, I see OnPassive as a platform towards we as people serving, for the greater good now. Now, if everybody use, right, the benefits of what OnPassive is going to do for us, to do something good, each individual, we can make a really big dent worldwide. Because for me, my vision for the world is to create something pertaining in agriculture where we could feed the world, because you must have food. You understand? Because everything in agriculture deals with how we come about in living, for we to live, to have proper food to eat and stuff. So I like what Mr. Peter just said. He have a direction in which he going to serve for the greater purpose of good to benefit humanity. So my purpose in being an OnPassive, along with Mr. Ash vision, right? Mr. Ash working on one sector of making us elevate ourselves Now, if each individual start to think with that higher thought, with a higher purpose, right? We will make a big dent, right? Now, Mr. Ash, he dealing in technology. Now, everybody could, if everybody play a part, the great thing that will happen it's never happened in this world ever. Even just OnPassive, just the name OnPassive, when somebody hear the name OnPassive, they know that this is something great. You understand? Because we going and reach up to about 1 million founders and just maybe it might be in the next month, we might reach 1 million founders. And then with that now, we will get to decipher the good from the bad because you know in everything there's good and bad now. So all that the company going through and everybody who participating with OnPassive is just is ciphering out the good from the bad. I think that's how the creation of OnPassive is. That is why it's taken even the time it's taken because we need to get the good apples away from the bad apples. It will have good and it will have bad. So in everything, we are able to discern the bad and keep the good. So I think on passive creation will allow that to happen because the way how our structure on passive is for that purpose. Because he only want good people on his side so that we could do something that will really benefit humanity. Look at all over the world, people suffering. And even before the pandemic, it had people suffering. Children, no clothes, no shoes, nothing. You understand? And for some of us who might be a non-passive, we might not have the wealth or anything, or we might not able to put our input. But now through this platform on passive, we are able to put our input and doing something about it. This is such a great thing. I don't know how people might be looking at it one-sided. They might be looking at it as a benefit to themselves. Yes, we all want to benefit, but we have a real purpose behind even benefiting. Because we just want to just benefit for ourselves, you know. We want to be able to benefit and allow others to even benefit along with us, even while we benefiting. So that's why OnPassive was created, and I think it was fantastic of Mr. Ash and what he's trying to do. I am with Mr. Ash 100%. I'm telling you, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, right? And based on how the different videos and things that I listen to Mr. Ash and stuff, you know, it strike a nerve in my mind, right? I had all these same good thoughts. And then when I heard Mr. Ash, it just strike another height in my mind. And I started to say, wow, imagine that. I mean, this is something that never happened. No. Nobody who is so brilliant and thing ever want to share the wealth with nobody. No way, we never saw that happening. Look at all the big companies that have. And I mean, that's the best they could do. I mean, in helping humanity with the wealth that they have. No, they want to study to fly out in space. Eh? That money would have spent to go out in space. You know what that could do for people who need? You know what that could really do? So if people really look at what Mr. Ash is trying to do, they will understand is it to serve a greater purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, very much for sharing. We appreciate it. You know, before we go on, any questions? I had a dream that OnPassive, the massive company, we had our own little Air Force fleet of C-130s, you know, all lettered up with OnPassive that are filled with food and water and clothing and just going into these countries that are in need twice a day and just dropping to people like continuous 24 hours a day. And it was the best dream I've ever had, I think, you know, because we were doing what OnPassive was built to do. So we're going to open up for some questions, or if you got to share a story, we're going to ask you please keep it to about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so we can get as many people sharing their stories as we can. So, or if you want to ask Peter a question, or if you want to ask, well, wait a minute, let me see, is Mike, are you still on here? Mike Ellis. Hello, Mike.
I'm still here, Ron.
Hey.
I've been listening. Very, very
Thanks.
interesting stuff.
Why don't you share some things with us? Give us some news here.
I can do that. I can do that.
I knew you could.
Yeah. I think it's terrific that everybody here has the altruistic thoughts that we all have, and you want to help humanity. I think OnPassive will all give us the ability to do that. But what you saw early on in the presentation is you saw the best of Marty DeGarmo, okay? And I always love to listen to Marty because even myself, who has known Marty for 9 years, I always get stuff from Marty that I didn't think about. And as you listen to Marty, I hope you all got and understood the difficulty in marketing online. As you listen to Marty's story, it's even more complicated than Marty makes it. And he kind of told you our journey getting to the place we're at where we can actually market. It is so much more complicated than Marty talked about. And I've only talked to one other person that understood what Marty, Dan, and I do, just one person. And not even the guru we worked for, 3 or 4 years ago, understood what we do. And I can tell you, and Marty doesn't like to hear this, but there are very, very few people in the world that do what we can do. Now, we did it out of necessity because we had to, but there's only one person that understood what we do. And you can guess who that person is. That individual is Ash Mufareh. He's the only individual that we could tell him what we did, and he understood it right away, okay? And really where this brings me, everybody here can do what we do. If you're willing to put 24/7, 365 days a year for 12 years and do it for 12 years, you can do what Marty, Dan, and I do, okay? Most people aren't willing to do that. And I understand that. You have to be half crazy to do what we did for 12 years. But what Ash Mufareh has done, he's come in and he's doing this for all of us. That's why when I say cut timeframes, level the playing field, this really is what Ash is doing. And it's because of Ash's expertise. And I know that personally because he knew exactly what we were talking about. Not only did he know what we were doing, but he can do it in a fraction of the time we can, mainly because he's got more money than we do, but also because he just has a mind for it. It really is genius behind that pretty face of Ash Mufareh. Don't tell him I said that. And because of that, all of us as founding members can come into OnPassive. This is where the success comes in. This is where the guarantee comes in. This is what Ash does, and he's the best at it. And as we think about OnPassive, I'll just say this and then leave it with you all. I'll give you maybe a little meat. I've kind of been pondering the last week and a half, the idea of a super unicorn company, okay? Super unicorn company in the first year. And that's a company that has a value of over $100 billion, okay? And I've tried to wrap my mind around that. And I love the numbers of OnPassive. They're absolutely beautiful. But when I think about a super unicorn company, I just haven't been able to do it, guys. The numbers are so outrageous. They're so far out there. This is 1 year. This is the first year, guys. They are just so far out there. If you are a founding member in OnPassive today, and sometimes I see founding members, their eyes glass over, and I want to shake them. Wake up. You guys need to wake up. When they talk about a unicorn company when they launch, that is so extraordinary. And people, their eyes glass over. I'm going, no, this is so unique, so revolutionary. And just this alone, what it's going to do for the founding members of OnPassive, it will blow your mind. I don't believe there's a single founding member, whether you're the first one in or you're the last founding member in, will ever have to worry about finances again. Now, it might take a year or 2 or 3, but who cares? 3 years, you're financially independent. And now we go to the end of 1 year as a super unicorn company. Guys, you're never going to be able to wrap your minds around this, but here's what I can tell you will happen. You're going to see it happen in front of you as we do the global launch to OnPassive, and Ash hasn't shared that with us. Everybody here knows it. We don't ask anymore. Ash will come out when he's ready. But when that happens and we get to watch the next 365 days OnPassive going to a super unicorn company, it's going to be financially, it's going to be the best year of your life. Okay. You know, one of the things that I love about Ash Mufareh, and again, people, they miss this. Ash will come on and he'll talk for an hour or 2 or 4, whatever it is. You guys know Ash. And people will come on and go, well, when's the launch? And they didn't hear what Ash said. And if you listen to Ash, he might have dropped 2 or 3 or 4 bombs that are just unbelievable. And they miss that. Again, they just miss it. We are in a really, really unique place. Love listening to Marty and everybody here. Lynn, you do a great job. Ron, you too. Keep those eyes open. Keep your ears open. We're very, very close. And when we start that 365-day countdown, just get ready. It's really going to be a fun ride. So that's it. Hopefully that's okay.
It's always okay when you speak, Mike. We appreciate you coming on here with us, and I hope you do more. I love listening to you. I love watching your videos. It's very informational and straightforward, and you just tell it like it is, you know, and that's great. I think we're all going to be in shock. It's going to be a shock and awe year.
You got it,
So,
Ron.
I appreciate it. Okay, let's open it up real quick for some questions or stories or whatever anybody wants to do. Excuse me. Just keep it to about 2 or 3 minutes if you would. So just raise your hands and we'll get this thing rolling. Somebody raised their hand. I guess they're an attendee. All right, William, go ahead.
Yeah, I listened to the Bangladesh webinar. I think it was today or yesterday, but it was very interesting what the lady was talking about. The correction to the corruption, the identity theft. I've been looking into it, what they have, but once it's into soft launch and or whatever they're going to call it, the prelude, or I think we'll have more information. That's my question, because I'd really like more information on that. Because what they have now is good, but as far as using it, I think we would want to use it better to protect ourselves. And I think other people would like to know it, because I would like to do a presentation on that, because I was learning that in school, how to protect yourself. But it seems like it's a big business for security, like routers and autoresponders, antivirus, malware, everything else. It seems to be a big business, and they still find a way, but you really catch on to these people. So I would really like to have more information on that, because I would really like to dabble more on that. Has anybody got any answers for that?
You know, the nice thing about it, William, is with OnPassive, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, that's all done for us. We're going to have the best security of any company in the world. So we don't really need myself. We don't
Because
need
our wallet has to be very secure because of these.
Well, that's why the man is dotting his I's and crossing his T's and making sure that when this thing goes, we are the most secure company in the world. And I think that's one of his missions, don't you think, Marty?
It'll be as secure can be, no doubt about it. He's not going to be secondhand on security, trust me. Listen, he has his own staff that try to hack into the system. Right? He's got people that do it all the time. You're always going to have that little snot-nosed kid with his hat on backwards. It's a freaking genius at hacking, but you just got to stay ahead of them. And Ash also is going to make it. He explained this, so I don't know all the details, but he'll make it so that if by chance somebody got behind door number 1 and OnPassive, the amount they could take is worthless for the amount of problems the guy would get into once he got into door number 1. So it's not like he's going to open the vault and all the money's there. It's a vault inside a vault, inside a vault, inside a vault. And then when you're all done, there's no money at the end. It's somewhere else. So it's going to be a lot of work for very little. I'll give you an example. PCs get hacked 100 times more than a Mac. Why? Because Macs are harder to get into. It's too much work. Ash is going to make it so that even if they can't get in, you get a quarter and a nickel and a dime, or so. I mean, for the amount of money that's in OnPassive. So he had brought that up earlier, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. So rest easy, William. We're in good hands. Kind of like Allstate. We're in good hands. So, Key, let me go to Richard first. Richard, come on down.
Yeah, hi, good evening. I have to be kind of like a fish, an opportunist, as a lot of times the technical difficulties eliminate my opportunity to either ask a question or to resolve something I'd like to, but getting to the heart of the matter. I had one question regarding these daily funnels they're going to be created for our position or positions. If we opt obviously to use one of our positions for a promotion other than traffic being delivered for building our teams, is that daily funnel change also apply to businesses outside of OnPassive?
No, but keep in mind, Richard, you're going to have a drag and drop system where you can make your own pages, you can make your own funnels any way you want. A lot of the scripts will already be made. In other words, you'll probably log in and say real estate, and there might be 50 or 60 scripts or a template there for real estate, if that's what you want to do, or whatever. And you'll also be able to change them, kind of like a click funnel, but not suck the money out of your pocket. It'll have everything. But the funnels the company is going to use will be the best of the best because they want to get people in our organization. But you have the ability to make any page you want, any way you want. You can mess around, and it's not like you can break anything. You try it and say, oh, I like this, or I like that, or I like, we have a system like that, Mike and me and Dan, but it's nowhere near what they have. And I did do ClickFunnels, and they lie to people and they say, get in, it's very easy. Yeah, it's easy. But when you really want to make a nice ClickFunnels on many pages and have it go different directions, you have to really know what you're doing. And they know you don't know, so you have to pay them. So now you're paying an extra $200 a month. It's just what they do. But on passive, you're going to be able to make any funnel you want and drive traffic to it. but they're not going to make you personal funnels for something that you like outside of OnPassive. That would be impossible. But it will be there for you to use whatever. And remember, if you have a passion for another something you love, some kind of health thing or whatever, and it really works, it's legit, they usually give you the funnel. All you have to do is plug it into the marketplace, drive 20% of your traffic to it, sit back and smell the roses, and it builds for you. Wow, sounds like I just knocked them off the internet.
Did that answer your question, Richard? I think so. Key, come on down.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention something that I noticed this week. Dwayne Murdoch put up a GoFundMe. Most of you may recognize his name. He's been a founder for, I think, since the beginning, 3 years. But I went to support the GoFundMe to raise funds for his mother's burial, which can be quite expensive here in the States.
Yeah.
You can spend 10, 15, 20 grand pretty quick. And when I put in the amount that I wanted to donate, GoFundMe, however they calculate and figure it out, they called it a tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that didn't sit real well with me. And so I reached out to Dwayne, and I told him, I sent him a private message. I said, Dwayne, I said, if you'll provide me the funeral home, I said, I'll just send him a direct check, put in the memo to your mother. So if anybody wants to assist Dwayne and he still has a need, guys, I have that information. You can contact me via Facebook. And the other thing I wanted to bring up that I noticed right after what Marty had brought up with Ash, but I think within the first week, I think the second webinar that he did you guys notice how long Ash stayed on and sat in that chair? I was jumping up and down trying to get Marty's attention. I was livid. I mean, Ash sat there for 4.5, 5 hours. And so I wish as a group, we would be a little bit more, I know we all want to hear Ash and we want to get as much time as we can with him, but the guy's just got a drive that is unbelievable. And to be able to lock that system out and keep doing what you need to do. But we're going to have to kind of encourage, all right, Ash, stand up, take a walk, take a break, come back in 5 minutes, relieve yourself, all that. But anyway, we just got to look out for him. That's it, guys.
I agree with that. Thanks, Key. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, any more hands up? Somebody gotta want to know something. Come on, you little rascals. Just raise your hands. It's easy. You just click a button. Point and click. Richard Moore. Wait a minute, Richard. Alcide and Barbara. Come on down.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Verizon commercial.
Oh, okay. First, I want to, thank all the leaders. Every time I come on a webinar, I always learn something, pick up a tidbit of information to help me along this journey. So I just want to thank all the leaders. I don't want to call out names because I'll miss somebody, but I come on a lot of webinars and I just sit and listen. And I always learn something that I can use and I pass along to my teams to make them better and stronger. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to ask Peter, where does he operate? I mean, where are you in the Philippines? What city, what province?
I am in Metro Manila.
Oh, okay.
Pasig City in Metro Manila.
Okay. I know it's a lot of need in the Philippines. I lived there about 40 years ago. The people, beautiful spirit, give you the shirt off their back, anything to help you out, make you feel more comfortable. Like anywhere it's need, but I know it's needs in the Philippines. I lived in San Fernando, La Union for about a year.
Okay. Yeah, I've lived there for 1 year as well.
Yeah. So right on the water, really, really pretty, really beautiful. Yeah, so that is very good. You're doing that. I used to help support a orphanage up there where I can't even think. I was trying to think of the name that was in San Fernando, but I can't even think of the name now. So I know it's a lot of needs, and I know you probably, when Bless starts, you're going to get a lot of contributions because there's a lot of needs that you can help solve over there. So I just wanted to find out. I figured you were on Luzon, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal. My brother-in-law is Filipino, and he's from somewhere right around Manila. There's some little, you got to walk up the mountains or something. So good people. Good people. Mr. Wood, open your mic and share us some wisdom. Well, you got on mute. There you go.
Yeah, it's wood if you could. But anyway, what Marty was saying before and everyone else, like these non-sayers, like I can't believe them. You know, it's I've been in since 7th of July 18, and I haven't even had one thought of getting out. And with MLMs, I have not done a program since I joined. Because I don't believe in them anymore because I lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I made some, but like not enough to make me really happy. And for $97, well, 134 or something in Australian money, but you know, and not to pay every month. Like every program I've ever been in, you had to pay every month, whether it was $10, $50, $100, whatever it was every month. And if you didn't pay, bingo, you're gone. You got no program. With this, we're in it to win it. And no matter if you've got no money to start or once you pay your initial payment, if you haven't got any money to buy the next payment, you don't get tossed out. You're there to stay. And, you know, who can beat that? Nobody. And as the caller before said about Ash, like we all should tell him to settle down a little bit and take a break instead of sitting there for an hour, 2 hours or 4 hours talking to us. He's a gentleman and a scholar. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. Thanks very much.
That's all you needed to say, Mr. Wood. You hit the nail on the head, or head on the nail, however that saying goes.
Well, sometimes I can use the hammer.
There you go. All righty. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Richard, you got another question or just want to share something?
Well, I had to let myself back in like so many other occasions, but anyways, the show goes on. I've discovered a new way to share OnPassive, and I'm overjoyed with it. Given, I guess you might say that my stages of boredom now with just standard solos and various other ways, but now I'm soliciting information, my text and my links and my little blurb with my pitch to breweries and distilleries and ice cream stands and you name it. I'm promoting it, and I'm overjoyed with the fact that between now and hard launch, hopefully I will have been able to have expanded my list of team members. So I'd wanted to share that with everybody.
I believe you're right. Thank you for sharing, Richard. Appreciate it. But look who come out of the dark there. Mr. James Bill. Come on down.
It's not that dark there, Ron. I have a question for Marty though. Is he still here? Marty, are you still here?
He's the host. He's got to be here.
Okay, good. I've been in and out, so I was curious. Marty, what is your favorite number for one? And two, when this this is finally going. What is one thing that you want to do first? Like, is there a place you want to go? Is there something you want to do? I just was curious because I hear all kinds of stories, but I haven't really heard what you want to do. What you want to do the most?
First of all, I can answer one of those questions. He wants a house with a big living room.
Yeah.
First thing Marty wants to do is build a church.
There you go. He's right. I want to build a church, and I like the number 8 because it's infinity.
Cool. Yeah, I was wondering. A lot of people, but I'm a numbers person, so I like 7 myself. 8 is a money number.
Tell them about the big living room, Marty.
Yeah, third on the list. I just want a big living room so I can invite people over because people travel around the world, and I want a place for them to stay in my home. Other than that, 12 pairs of shorts, 12 t-shirts, and a couple new hats, and I'm set for the rest of my life, man.
Not gonna go fishing or anything like that.
Not unless they jump in my living room. I'm just kidding. No, I love fishing, by the way. Yeah, I'll go fishing.
So what's the church for?
People.
So he can repent.
No, we have church. We have church in our basement. We don't have a building here.
Oh,
and I would like to have a building.
You see, that's what I was wondering, because now I know why you want a church, because you need one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. You're gonna have got any designs in mind?
No, not really. I would even buy a used old church, you know. They're around there. In fact, Mike told me that. You could probably find one old country church that they're not using, or that would be fine. Nothing fancy. I'm not looking for a Coliseum.
Yeah, like an old Victorian style church.
Yeah, just an old church. I've seen one. We have a little town around here called Timbuktu, believe it or not, and they have a small church there. They're using it, but I think I could convince them to leave. No, I'm just kidding. No, but something like that. Something like that.
Now, I've looked at churches around the country, guys. Marty, you can get a cathedral for a great price, go in, renovate it, and then you have enough for your growth. 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people coming to church every Sunday.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Cool.
We attended a church that they rented the Amway Arena, and we had more people than they've ever had at a Magic game. So it's I think you got a good plan there, Marty. I want a nice house, maybe another new truck, but I'm going to buy the biggest, fastest bass boat that you can own in the world.
So you like bass fishing?
I like fishing. I just like fishing, period. So, all right. Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Mr. Bruce, Delray Beach, Florida. Come on down.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you, Lynn and Ron, for such a wonderful meeting. I want to thank Marty and thank, I just forgot his name, from Peter, and also, of course, Mike, for all of their eloquent words. You know, a lot of this, when I think about myself, whenever I was thinking about the wealth that I was going to have at one point in my life, all I thought about was, what could I do with the money that I would have? What could I do for everyone else? But Ash put it best. He said, first, get your own house in order. Make sure that your family is taken care of, and then give to others. Because if you don't have your own house in order, the rest of it will never be in order. And so what Ash has done in my mind, he created the greatest vehicle that we've ever seen to let wealth be developed. And that wealth can then be used for the goodness of the world. But it still comes down to, the engine is to me of bliss, but what drives the engine is the fuel, and the fuel will always be the money. So bottom line, we still have to have the money for Oblast and for everything else that we do in this world. Marty wants a church. I would like to have a house in the Philippines and in Hawaii, probably in Big Island, one in Maui too, and also one in Thailand. But that's just for me. But what I would like to do in the Philippines, because I have a girlfriend there, and I know the suffering that they have when it comes to the health, to hospitals there. Nobody in the Philippines, for the most part, can afford hospitalization. It takes it. They don't make very much money, and hospitals and medications take all their money away for even food and gas, electricity, and rent and all those other things, and water. So I want to be able to help those things, and I want to express my gratitude to Peter because I'm sure that he was involved with Tacloban when Tacloban was hit with a terrible typhoon, and there were ships that were taken out of the water and landed on ground, and they still sit there today. And I gotta say that it's a blessing whenever we do anything that's for the good of anybody else, because I believe that that's what the God of my understanding wants everybody to do, to serve with compassion, love, and kindness. So I think that that's really the essence of where OnPassive is. OnPassive is the only business I've ever known that truly has a heart of compassion, kindness, and giving to others. But it still comes with the driving force, which comes back down to the thing that spiritually money is made from God, and it's made from God so that we can give to others. He said long ago, go out into the world and I guarantee you that you will prosper. And that's what Rashma Farah says too. Come into the world of OnPassive and I guarantee you, you will prosper. No matter how small you may feel, no matter how foolish you feel, no matter how much you don't know, you do know, you will prosper and you will all prosper equally. So I'm excited to be here and I feel proud and blessed that I'm in a company that gives so much to others. And I want to thank you again for everything that you all do here.
Thanks, Bruce. We appreciate you being here too.
I appreciate you.
You know, it's like that song, "Money Can't Buy You Love." So, Tony, I saw the comments. I appreciate it. Lynn and I both appreciate your comment. James, let me go to Paul real quick because he hasn't spoken yet. We got about 9 minutes left. So, Paul, come on out. You got on mute, buddy. You got on mute. There you go. Gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Tremendous, tremendous. Thank you. So glad to be here. I've been listening for a while. There's one thing I've always wanted to ask, and some of the other leaders aren't here, so I wanted them also to hear this. But I've often wondered, does OnPassive use any volunteers from the membership to do anything? I'm sure there's a lot of skilled people among the 800,000 members who might want to contribute in some way to help with something. I know when I first got involved, I was on the website doing a lot of reading because I love reading. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I noticed that there were quite a few grammatical errors. And I was wondering who does the editing, some of these articles before they get put up. So because that is one of my strong points. And I was wondering, if they need help in any area, do they go about asking for that help, or who's in charge of that? So I haven't heard anyone mention it, but I think a volunteer task force that would contribute in some way could be a great asset to the company. Is that something that they would entertain? Or
I think a good person for you to get a hold of is Jeffrey Morlock. Because he does a lot of the ebook, right? Mike? Marty?
Yeah, let me chime in just a little bit, and then I'll let Marty come in. Ash Mufara knows the talent level in OnPassive. Believe me, he knows there are a lot of really, really talented people in OnPassive. And when he needs something specific, and there's a specific person that has that skill set, he will approach them and get them to do what he wants them to do. When you talk about the grammatical errors in the text that OnPassive is developing right now, and Marty says this all the time, you have to understand we're in pre-launch, and all of these things will be taken care of. Believe me, Ash knows it. You're not the first one to bring this up, Paul. Ash knows about that. All of that stuff will be taken care of as we go into the Founder back office, and then we go into the global launch of OnPassive. Does Ash want us to put together a task force that he can draw from and do different things? No, he doesn't want us to do that. It would just be too crazy, because there are so many people in OnPassive who believe they have the skills to tell him what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And that's just not the case. Believe me, Ash, he sees everybody. If you have a specific skill set, Ash will see it. And if he needs it, he will come to you. Hopefully that makes sense, Paul.
Yeah, sure, it makes a lot of sense. But even some of you leaders, I know some of you are, everyone's busy. Do any of you have a time when you might want somebody to help you with something?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what you all do in the background.
Paul, I'm horrible at grammar, okay? If you read my stuff, okay? But there has been people that he has asked to double check some of the grammar and all that. So that is going on. By the way, you can go to support and write them and offer your help in proofreading or grammar. You can do that. Now, whether he picks you right now or not, but a lot of people have stepped forward. I know there's people doing it because he knows, like Mike said, he knows that it's not very good. And he knows there's people that can see it, and it makes the professional people get worried. But when I read to a sentence, I couldn't tell you if it's right or wrong. I look at the front, I look at the back, I get the meaning, and I take off. That's why I can't spell very well or grammar. I don't take the time to look at it. Now, Dan, as far as me, Mike, and Dan, he's that guy. If I send him something, not only can he fix it, he wants to read it to me and tell me what a monkey I am, okay? So I always tell him, no, don't read it to me, just fix it. Yeah, but you have this, you should have had a comma. I don't know, you're running your sentences together. Okay, teacher, I don't want that. Learning grammar has way by the Fat Marty about 25 years ago. I got my skills, you got yours, fix it and make it look good. But no, I understand. You can volunteer, Paul. That doesn't stop you. Go to support and say, look, I would like to proofread or anything I can help. Who knows, you might be called. I know some people on OnPassive have been called to help out on these little things like that. So it's happening, but does he put a big broad thing out there? No, because it would be overwhelming, like Mike said. There'd be 50,000 people coming in. But if you volunteer, go ahead, Paul. I would volunteer. But we've got people doing little things, like you said. Ron talked about Jeffrey. Jeffrey did the ebook, but the ebook's been moved around for 3 or 4 people, not just spelling the content, what it's really meant, and then went back. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on behind the scenes because there is too many sites that when you look at it, and if you take the time to read it, you say, that doesn't make sense, doesn't look very good. But he knows, and like Mike said, we get to O-Founder, we get to the launch, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that at all.
Great, fantastic.
Good deal. Thanks, Paul.
Welcome.
All right. We're at the mark. So James, you're on a 2-minute countdown. Go ahead. You got on mute first. You don't unmute, it doesn't take
There we
time.
go. There we go. Sorry. 2 things. First thing, Bruce, I love your beard. I don't know how long you've been growing it, but I like to know that. But before you get to that, I just wanted to say 20 years ago tomorrow, a tragic event happened in the States. And just wanted to say our hearts and our prayers from Canada are all with you people down there. And I was just curious if where anybody was the day that happened. I was at work and there was a commotion in the office and everybody started going into the foreman's office. And when I got in there, the first plane had already hit. And as we were standing there, we watched the second one. It was like a dead silence in the whole plant. They actually let everybody go home for the rest of the day. So it was I get goosebumps thinking about it. It's something it's etched in my mind after seeing that. And I just wanted to say my prayers are with everybody, all our fellow Americans that are the south of me. And we are with you.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, it was horrible. And the good news is 10 years later on May 1st, Bin Laden got his free shot and he's no longer with us.
Right.
Yeah, and now something else is happening tomorrow, which I think is a slap in the face with the Taliban over there. Those 5 people that they released from Guantanamo Bay, they are announcing tomorrow their cabinet for their government. On tomorrow of all days.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to solve that. We're pretty
No, but it's just a reminder. It's just a slap in the face. As soon as we all heard that, we thought, this is crazy. So
good deal. Thanks, James. Okay, Julie, you're making me a liar. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm driving and I'm hiding behind the.
Of course you're driving.
You're driving. You're kidding.
You're kidding.
You kidding me.
Really?
No, I know. I just wanted to remind everyone, Marty has released a video this morning. If you haven't seen it, it's everywhere. Please see it. And the other thing that I like to remind everyone too is that if you see anything, especially like, a website of old mail or things like that out there, or things that people post on the group, if you could please don't share it, don't, send it privately to the leadership council, or, just don't share it, because we don't know whether or not it is real. The only real things that are happening is in our back office, especially the social media, the website, and all of that. It's in our back office, and those are the only true information that we receive. So if you could please remind everyone, remind your team, if you see it in the group, please just ask them to remove it or delete it. Even just don't ask if this is real or anything that is negative. The more we shared it out to people, the more we just giving them more clicks and view and stuff like that. And then also, thank you, James, for bringing the event up 20 years ago. It is a very sad day tomorrow. And in the Julie and Milo show, we did a video interviewing the 3 gentlemen that was, were there on the 12th, which is the day after 9/11. The story is in our channel. And then tomorrow during the Julie and Milo show, We call it fireside or fun side chat from 2 to 5. We have those gentlemen coming back and probably 1 or 2 more coming back and talk about it, just in the honor and remembrance of what happened 20 years ago. So I'm inviting you, if you know, if you don't want to see that anything negative and just want to have a moment, you know, 3 hours of that day just to you know, sit and hear the stories, or just remembrance of all that lost their life, and the ones that got deeply impacted. So all I ask is, if you mark your calendar and join us tomorrow, the link and everything will be posted tonight in the Leadership Council tab or webinars, or, you know, I've been having problems posting them, but it will be everywhere, anywhere, or even on my Facebook. Thank you, Ron and Lynn, for a beautiful webinar. Marty, you know I love you. Beautiful story. And Peter, wow. I'd like you to come on Julie and Milo show and please tell us more about what you are doing. I appreciate you helping the Philippines. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me 5 minutes to talk. I'm sorry, I always go long.
No problem.
Thank you, Ron and Lynn.
All right,
Julie.
drive safe.
Hey, Julie.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
driving.
yes.
Do you realize you have a unicorn following you?
Yes, I am.
All righty. Thanks for
Isn't
sharing,
that
Julie. We
beautiful?
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Lynn, final comment.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. We had 2 great speakers. Want to thank both of them. I think they spoke from the heart, and we all got a little bit of something from them. So that's our goal, right, Ron? To provide
That's right.
value to everyone. So we
That's right.
appreciate you, because if you don't come to our webinar, we would not have a webinar. So everybody that attended, we value each and every one of you. We want to thank the Leadership Council that attended today. I don't want to miss anybody, but Chris was here, Marty, Mike Ellis. Am I missing anybody? Am I missing anybody? Did I hit all of our leadership? I think I got them all. Thank you. We appreciate Bill Musk and Kevin Rutledge, who produce our graphics, which advertise our webinar. We appreciate you very, very much for that. Marty, for always hosting our webinar. We're able to use the corporate account just because of Marty. So we're grateful to you. We never want to take you for granted. Kevin Rutledge, always there for us, being co-host. We appreciate you so much. But thank you to everyone. We send you all our love and appreciation. Back to you, Ron.
Thanks, Lynn. It's been fun again. Pretty much ditto what you said. I can't say much more than that. You took my thunder. Thanks a lot. But again, thanks everybody for attending. Like Lynn said, if we didn't have you attendees, we wouldn't have a webinar. And we try to make it as interesting as we can each week. So special thanks to Marty for your presentation and for your talk. And Peter, thank you very much. Mike, thanks for sharing. We always love to hear from you. So all I can say is go forward, be safe, and share the business. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Love y'all.
Open your mics. I want to hear you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Good night. Founders go.
On the webinar.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Dr.
Night,
Benny.
Thank you,
Have a good
Marty.
night.
Bye-bye.
I'm off the
Go
bed.
Founders.
See you
Go.
next week.
Marty.
Well, Teddy.
Chris.
Good
to see everybody. Great webinar.
Time
Oh,
for
swear,
popcorn.
Was fantastic.
fun.
Just another great day.
Good
night, everyone. Great to see all
of
Ooh, I love the hair, Dr. Benny. Love your hair, Dr. Benny.
The OnPassive
Thank you.
way.
Thank you.
Built by design.
Dr. Benny.
Yes.
We are the
Love
world.
you guys. Thank you.
Dr. Benny.
Chris, I vote for
We
you.
are the Humpty.